How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's stick mobility class. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me. So for today's class, we're actually going to keep it super simple, super basic. We're just going to need two long sticks and the corner of a wall and a wall to utilize. So for today's class, we're actually going to be focusing specifically on a lot of core. So we're going to do a very core intensive class. So if you love core, you're in the right spot. Now, for some of the drills we're going to do, some are going to be standing, some are going to be tall kneeling, but we're going to look at working the core in 360 degrees, or mainly focusing particularly on the rectus abdominis. We're going to really get into those obliques pretty hard today, and then we're going to focus on some breathing techniques of getting the core, or learning how to actually brace properly or create intra-abdominal pressure. So some of the drills we're actually going to do, I'm actually going to kind of go through a little bit more of an explanation of how to brace properly and then move through some of those actions here. Now for the warm-up, we're going to go through a little bit of a full body warm-up, but we're going to stick with some of the basic drills today because again, we're focusing on core, or specifically core type work. So we're going to go with both sticks. We're going to start off with a double hang here. So I'm going to have my right leg forward. I want the bottom of the sticks to be angled back towards me. And I'm going to have both hands up nice and high. And now from here, I'm going to slowly sink down, dropping that back knee down towards the floor. I want to get a full hang here. So I'm just relaxing the shoulders. Just want to go with the hang. You want to focus on your breathing. We're going to come up and we're going to switch sides. So bring that right foot back. Nice good split. You're going to slowly sink down. Excellent. We're going to come back up. Now we're going to switch sides again. This time we're going to add in some rotations. So hands are up nice and high. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to drive the sticks into the floor, about 10%. Now I'm going to rotate side to side. So right, then left, right, left, right, and left. Good. And we're going to ease off. So this is such a really good drill because we're decompressing the spine and getting some brachiation, so it's really good for the shoulders. But this is one of those drills where having it as a daily practice will start to feel really good over time. So we're going to drop down, drive those sticks into the floor, going to rotate left, right, left. Make sure your hips aren't shifting and moving. Right, one more time, left, and right. Back to center and ease off. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to work on some rotation. So I'm actually going to turn to the side a bit here, and I'm going to have my left leg forward and my right leg's going to be back. I'm still going to be using both sticks here. Now my right foot, I want that heel up high, right? So I don't want it drop down to the floor. I want to keep that heel up nice and high. Right stick's going to be at 12 o'clock, and the bottom of the stick is in line with the heel of my front foot. Left stick is going to be roughly about where my hips are, if not slightly behind. Now my right hand is going to be at about roughly chest or shoulder level, and I'm going to have this left hand right about the same. So I'm going to drive both sticks down, and I'm going to load that front leg a bit. So I'm going to shift forward on that front leg, and I want to keep a posterior pelvic tilt. So I want my right glute to fire. And now from here, I'm going to open up and rotate to the left or towards that front leg, reaching back, creating separation, getting nice and tall. And then I'm going to come back in. Let's go again. Open up and rotate. Create separation. That's 2. Open up and rotate. 3. Let's go one more time. Excellent, and that's 4. We're gonna ease off, and we're gonna switch sides here. So now I'm gonna go with my right leg forward, left leg back. Again, creating a nice big split here. Left stick's at 12 o'clock, lined up with that front heel. Right stick is lined up behind. Hands are about the same height here. Load that front leg, squeeze a glute, posterior tilt. And now from here, open up, rotate to the right. Trying to create as much separation as you can. You want to try not to shift. Back forward. Good. Open up to the right. Create that separation. That's 2. Open up to the right. 3. Let's go one more time here, folks. Open up to the right. 4. Good. And ease off. Excellent. So now let's go ahead and work with thoracic extension. I love this drill. This is something I do all the time. Now, the point of this drill is, again, we're really trying to focus on creating as much extension in the spine as we can. A lot of us are kind of flexed over. So this is a really good drill to do particularly a couple times a day, just to get the spine a little bit more open into a range that we don't typically get it to, or just to get to a nice good tall position. So I'm gonna go feet about hip width, toes forward. The bottom of the sticks are lined up with my midfoot. Notice the sticks are angled in. I'm gonna have my hands up roughly about face level. Now from here, drive those sticks down light, about 20%. And then you're gonna drive those hips back, reaching those hands out. Want to keep those arms straight. So you should be feeling this in that thoracic spine, or more so that mid back and upper back area. You should not be feeling the lower back at all. Breathe. Come back up. Good, we're gonna do that again. You can adjust your hands as you need. I'm gonna slide my hands down a little bit more. Drive those sticks down, 20%. Hinge, reach those arms out. Drive the hips back. Come back up. Excellent. Let's go one more time. Drive the sticks down, 20%. Reach those hands out. Drive those hips back. Now I want you to bring the sticks a little further apart so you're in a little bit more of a Y shape. Come back up. Nice and easy. Excellent. We're going to place one stick down. What we're going to do here, we're going to take the stick, place it behind the mid back. We're going to get it in the crux of our elbows here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start to segment the entire body into it. So having the hands at the crooks of the elbows, we're going to start at just moving the spine first, not the hips. You want those hips to stay forward, but what we're going to do from here is we're going to squeeze those glutes, go into a little bit of a posterior tilt, just so we keep that lumbar from getting involved here. So I'll kind of go a little bit to the side. Now from here, I'm going to have my hands forward. And what I want to do is I want to drive my hands forward here just to make sure I keep some good extension, right? If we're not driving our arms forward, and you're going to feel it kind of go into the mid back a little bit, we're going to be missing extension. We're more likely to fold over. So drive your hands forward about 20%. Keep your glutes nice and tight. And I'm going to rotate to my left, but as I do that, I'm driving that right arm across, and I'm driving my left hip forward. Now I'm going to come back to center, drive my left arm across, keeping my right hip forward. Good, rotate to the left, drive that right arm. Now right. Left. And right. Good. Back to center. Now we're going to start to segment the hips. So we're going to rotate the hips without pivoting the feet. So drive those hands forward. I'm gonna rotate to the left. I'm gonna rotate my hips, so you should get further rotation. Now I'm gonna rotate to the right, driving that left arm across, not pivoting the feet, but rotating those hips. So opening my hips up. Now rotate to the left. Good. Right. Left. Right. Excellent. Now as we rotate to the left, we're going to pivot that right foot. So back to center, rotate to the left. I'm going to pivot that right foot. Now I'm getting a lot of internal rotation on that left hip. Now I'm going to rotate back, forward, and then rotate to the right, pivoting that left foot, getting that internal rotation on that right hip. Rotate left. Good. Right. Left. Right. Back to center and ease off. Excellent. Good. This is where we're going to need the corner of the wall. This is going to be a drill where we're going to be doing a Cossack squat going towards the wall. So we're going to get the chest to really open up here, but we're also going to get a little bit of that adductor line as well. So I'm going to put the bottom of the stick. This will be the corner of the wall for me. And I want to have, so I'm facing the stick's on my right side, and I have my right foot about roughly a foot away from the stick here. Now it's effectively lined up with my midfoot, and I want to have this right arm straight out. As we're going into this drill, we want to make sure that that arm remains straight. We don't want to bend it. That'll take off that stretch. And now from here, keeping that right arm straight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lunge or do a Cossack squat over towards my right side. So I'm going to sink into it, and as I do it, I'm going to go down towards the floor as if I'm reaching to grab something. Now, what you're going to notice is a real big chest stretch in the chest and the shoulder, and you want to make sure that this left leg is straight. We're driving off that left leg going towards the wall. Going to come back up. Good. Let's go into it again. Lunge to the right. So we're getting rotation in the spine. We're getting a stretch in this adductor. We're getting a stretch in this right pec area. Come back up. Let's go into it one more time, folks. Lunge to the right. You want to keep the stick in line with the shoulders. Back up and ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. So I'll go from a little bit of a different angle. So I'm going to have it lined up on my left side. Again, we're about roughly a foot away from the stick, bottom of the stick here. Hand is up nice and high. Now from here, I'm going to lunge, again, Cossack squat to my left. I'm going to drive off that right leg. Breathe. Back up. Let's go two more. Lunge to the left. Really drive off that right leg. Feel a stretch in the right adductor. Back up. Let's go one more time. And lunge to your left. Drive off that right foot. 3, 2, 1. Back up. Excellent. and wiggle those feet in and ease off. Now we're gonna go with our very first core drill. So we're gonna get into a tall kneeling hollow hold. So for this drill, we want to focus on spinal alignment and positioning, meaning that if we're going into this drill and we're getting that extension, we're missing that connection to the core. So we need to keep really good control of the rib cage as we go into this drill. So we want to think about dropping the ribs down towards our pelvis, the front of our pelvis. If we have the front of our pelvis here and a rib cage here, we want to try to align them as best we can. That is going to be your hollow position here. So you're doing a little bit of a pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, and you're dropping your ribs down. We're going to intensify that by actually driving the sticks into the floor here. So we're going to go down to the floor. If you have a pad, it'd be good to grab, right? If being on the knees is uncomfortable. And so what I want to do, and also hand position wise, you don't need to be up here, right? You can have your hands out in front like so, or even down a little bit more. You want to find a position that's kind of comfortable, or more so comfortable, while still getting a challenge, right? You don't want to have you don't want to have any discomfort on the shoulder joint. Now I'm going to have the bottom of the sticks about roughly 4 to 6 inches in front of the line of my hips, and I have both ankles plantar flexed. So I want the tops of my feet into the floor. I'm going to create tension up that interior line here by driving my feet down. I'm going to have my hands out like so. So for me, I'm going with a little bit more of almost in an overhead position. Now from this position, I want to drive both feet down, and I want to squeeze my glutes, and I'm going to drop my ribs down towards my hips. That's that first part. Now I'm going to drive the sticks down at 40%, push. Going to do a long duration hold. Breathe. Three, 2, 1, and ease off. So you might see it on video, but I am actually shaking a bit. It's actually a little more challenging than it looks. So we're gonna go again. Let's up that intensity to 60% this time. Tuck the pelvis, drive the feet into the floor, ribs down, and drive the sticks down 60%. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent, good. We're gonna go one more time here. Let's up that intensity to 80%. Tuck the pelvis, drive your feet into the floor, ribs down, drive the stick down 80% and push. Three, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent, good. Now we're gonna go to a standing position. We're gonna go with a wall push, right? Really simple, very basic. However, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make it challenging by working on shortening and lengthening that lever, right? So starting off at a short lever, extending those arms out, increasing that lever length, which is gonna increase that challenge on the core. So I'm gonna go with the stick out to my right here, and I wanna make sure I have both arms or both hands at roughly about shoulder width, maybe a slight bit wider, but I wanna make sure my elbows stay under my shoulders. I don't want them to flare out like so. I wanna keep them in nice and tight here. I'm gonna go with a wide stance. My stance is about shoulder width, if not a little bit wider. And I'm starting with both arms bent at 90 degrees. Now from here, I'm gonna drive the sticks into the wall at 50%. So push. What you're gonna feel is you're gonna feel that outside leg working real hard, driving in towards the wall a little bit. You don't wanna shift your body, but you wanna feel that tension in that left leg. Now I'm going to extend my hands out, holding that position, so pushing at 50%. Good, bring the stick back in slowly. All the way to 90. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. Should be feeling that right oblique working. That's the side that we're going for. Whatever side the stick is going out to, that's the side we're working. So let's go ahead and go again. So get into the athletic stance here. Elbows in, push into the wall, 70%, push. Extend those arms out. Good, back in nice and slow. And ease off. Excellent. Let's go 2 more, then we're gonna switch sides. Drive into the wall, 70%, push. Make sure you're pushing off that outside leg, it's really important. Out. In, nice and slow. And ease off. Excellent, good. One more time, folks, one more time. Drive into the wall. Good, extend. Bring it back in. Still pushing. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent. Let's go on and switch sides. So now I got the stick going out to my left side here. Elbows are in. Start the first rep 50%. Push. Breathe. Extend those hands out. Back in. And ease off. Excellent. Good. We got 2 more here, folks. Sorry, 3 more. So 70%, push. Extend. Back in. And ease off. Good. So those obliques should be firing up a lot right now. Push. Breathe. Extend. Good. Back in. And ease off. Good. One more set, or one more rep here. One more rep. Sorry, not set. Right. Get set in position. Push. Extend. Excellent. Back in. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Wonderful. Good. Now, let's talk about something real quick. We're going to talk about proper bracing mechanics. And so, with proper bracing mechanics, what we have to look at is not how hard we get the front of our core tissues to actually activate, but are we getting our obliques to activate? So, the sandwich drill. And I'm going to stand with my feet. My feet are about roughly shoulder width. Doesn't necessarily matter all that much, but you're going to take your hands. And what I want you to do, I want you to find where your rib cage is and think about 2 inches below that. I want you to take your hands and press into your sides, like so, as if you're trying to create a corset. Now from here, I'm going to give pressure. So this provides me with feedback to that midsection. Now from here, I want to tighten my core. So I want to tighten the front of my abs. I want to tighten those obliques as well. And then I'm gonna take a deep breath in. And I want my hands to expand 360 degrees and then exhale. And relax. Good. So let's go ahead and do that again. I'm gonna turn to the side so you also see what that looks like. So I'm gonna give pressure, right? Tighten my core, I'm gonna tighten my abs, tighten my obliques. Everything's nice and tight. Deep breath in. 360-degree expansion, and exhale. Good. Ease off. So those are the bracing mechanics you really want to go for when you're looking at properly bracing the core for any drill that you happen to get into. Now we're going to apply that to our dead bug. And so I'm going to take one stick here. I'm going to go to the floor. And so I want you to think about how that felt, right? We got 360-degree expansion. We need to make sure that, for one, our alignment is right. So ribs down, pelvis tucked. That's the first thing. Second thing is breathing 360 degrees. So it should feel like your obliques are expanding outwards, top of your core is expanding up, and pressure into the ground. The ground gives you that feedback on the posterior side. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have my hands out relatively wide. You can figure out where you wanna go with how wide your hands are. I want the stick to be over my hips. I'm gonna bring my knees up. And now from here, already have that position of my pelvis tucked, since my knees are up here, right? So I want that lower back flat to the floor as if I'm trying to smash a marshmallow. And I want my rib cage down. So drop the rib cage into the floor. And now from here, I'm going to compress, create tension on the stick. Let's go at 40%. And now I want to breathe in, exhale. We're going to take 5 breaths. You breathe in, exhale, breathe in, exhale, breathe in, exhale. One more time, breathe in, exhale. Ease off and relax. So that is that intra-abdominal pressure, that real core bracing that we're going for. So now we're gonna add in movement. We're gonna add in extending that leg. So when you go to extend your leg, I want you to breathe out. So I want you to really exhale, right? Feel that core tightening even more. When you bring the leg back in, that's when you inhale, okay? So out, inhale coming back in. So we're gonna do 3 reps per side. We're gonna be at 40% tension. You just wanna start on a low level of tension and get you really good at bracing. So I'm gonna keep my hands the same. I'm gonna bring my knees up. Back is flat to the floor, rib cage down. Compress. And switch legs. Ease off. Good. So when doing a dead bug or doing any drill that requires actual core bracing, this is going to apply to squats, it's going to apply to deadlifts, it's going to apply to an overhead press. You want to, first of all, really learn how to connect what that real intra-abdominal pressure and bracing is and what that feels like. And then when you start to utilize that for some of your lifts, if you're like me, I like to lift weights, you can add this in as a mechanism to get ready for a big lift, or even if you're just trying to get good at learning how to brace with 70% of your maximum load. it's good to know these mechanics because this is what's going to protect that lumbar from getting involved, but also keep you in a much more rigid and tight position so you're less likely to get pulled out of position depending on whatever exercise you're doing. Now we're going to get into another oblique exercise. This is going to be a lateral flexion based drill. With right knee down, left leg forward. And so, like I mentioned, this is a lateral flexion drill. What we're going to look at is lengthening one side, which is going to be that outside leg, and the inside leg or inside side facing towards the wall. That is going to be the side that's going to be shortening. And so to really connect those tissues, we're going to be in this position where we're in the lateral flexion. Again, like I mentioned, it is a lateral flexion based drill, and we're driving the stick down with our hands, right? And so as we do that, we're going to increase that tension on the core. We're going to further increase it by picking our left heel up and driving our hip upwards towards our shoulder. So we're really trying to shorten this inside, the inside tissues as much as we can. So we're getting lengthening on the outside, shortening on the inside. So stick is on my left side, at the bottom of the stick lined up with my hips. So I'm going directly out to the side here, and I'm going to bring my hands out. And now from here, I'm going to go through a series of activation. Squeeze my right glute, drive my right foot into the floor. I'm plantar flex on that side. Hands are out. I'm going to drive my hands down into the corner of the wall. Now we're going to pick up that left hip. And I want you to really drive that left hip up towards that left shoulder at 40%. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off and relax. You should be feeling the obliques, and you're going to feel a little bit of those lats really kicking in here. If you're starting to feel your low back get involved, tuck your pelvis harder, right? If you're getting into that anterior tilt, you take away from the exercise. Let's go ahead and get into it again. Arms are out. I'm going to squeeze this right glute, drive that foot into the floor, drive the stick into the ground 40%, and drive that left hip up towards the shoulder. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Excellent. Good. Let's go one more time, and then we're going to switch sides. Arms are out. Drive that back foot to the floor. Squeeze that right glute. Drive the hands into the floor. Drive that left hip up. Keep that left heel off the floor. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So I'll actually kind of turn in a little bit more of an angle here. So we're going to get stick out to the right. Lift hands over. So we're going to do that same thing. Okay. Back foot into the floor. Squeeze that left glute. Drive the stick into the ground. Good. Drive that left heel up and left hip or right hip into the right shoulder. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. We're going to go 2 more here, folks. 2 more. Hands out. Squeeze that left glute. Drive that left foot into the floor. Drive the stick into the floor with both hands. Drive that right heel and hip up. Breathe. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent. Got one more time here, folks. One more time. Hands out. Squeeze a glute. Drive that left foot into the floor. Drive the stick into the floor. Both hands. Drive the right heel up. Try to connect that right shoulder and right hip. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Excellent. Good. And that was the core drills. Again, it's trying to work on connecting the body, connecting to those tissues, getting really, really good at that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on getting into an adductor stretch. All right, folks, so now we're gonna get into some ground-based stretching. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with the adductor. All right, folks, so now we're gonna get into some ground-based stretching. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start off working with the straddle stretch. So we're really gonna get into those adductors, get into the hamstrings, and we're gonna add in some rotations along with it. So we're gonna kind of hit a little bit of everything. So we're gonna go onto the floor here. I'm gonna have my feet out wide, your legs are out wide. So depending on how mobile you are, you might start in closer. You can always go with a frog position, which means you would bring your feet in like so. And so from here, I'm gonna get the stick to right where the arches of my feet are. Now, this is a 6-foot stick. Typically I would use a pro model, a 7-foot pro model, but this is what we're gonna go with for today. So we're gonna go with our feet up towards the ceiling. I don't want your feet to be turned out like so and to be angled out. I want them straight up like so, as if we were standing when our feet forward. Now from here, I'm gonna grab the stick, roughly about shoulder width, and I'm going to pull on the stick, pull myself into a tall position. So I'm gonna create some force here, and I wanna hold. Breathe. You should be feeling a stretch in the adductors and the hamstrings. Good, I'm gonna ease off. I'm going to rotate the stick a bit so it's not all bending in one way. And I'm gonna wiggle my feet out a little wider. Again, try to go with those toes up. And I'm gonna pull on the stick into that tall position again. Breathe. Excellent, we're gonna ease off, nice and slow. I'm going to rotate my palms up towards the ceiling. I'm gonna do that again. Pull on the stick into a tall position. Now I want you to pull your torso in or pull your chest down going towards the stick here. You're gonna get an increased stretch on the adductors and hamstrings here. Breathe. Excellent. We're going to ease off. We're going to take a second here. Now we're going to add in rotation. So we're going to have one hand in the center of the stick. We're going to open up and rotate back. We're going to be switching and doing both sides. We're going to do 4 rotations per side here. So from this position, toes are up, and I want to pull with my right hand. I'm going to take my left hand off. You can have your left hand on your chest, or you can open up and rotate to the left. Either one, whatever's most comfortable, as long as it doesn't cause any sort of discomfort. So from here, I'm gonna rotate to the left, and I'm gonna reach back with that left hand, pulling with that right hand. I'm gonna come back in and forward. Then we're gonna open up to the left again, reach back. Good, bring the hand in, come forward. Let's go 2 more. Rotate to the left. Reach back. Excellent. Rotate forward. Let's go 1 more time. Open up to the left. Reach back. Good. Bring back forward. Ease off. Rotate that stick a bit. Now we're going to switch. So I'm going to pull with that left hand, get to a nice tall position. Right hand on. Rotate to the right, reach back, and back forward, rotate, reach, good, it's 2, 3. Excellent. Let's go one more time. Reach. Excellent. And ease off. Wonderful. Good. Hips are going to feel a little weird, but go ahead and come out of that slowly. Now we're going to go to a tall kneeling position. And what I want to focus on here is dislocates. So we're going to do this from a tall kneeling position to make sure we stay true to the movement. Oftentimes when people do dislocates, you get a lot of low back movement. So with this, we're going to drive those feet down into the floor from a plantar flex position and squeeze the glutes to make sure we're not getting into that lower back. So I'm going to go with a really wide grip here, and I'll actually turn forward for this. And I want to drive my feet into the floor, and I want to squeeze my glutes. Now, having this wide grip, I'm going to keep my elbows straight, and I'm going to pull the stick apart at about 10 to 20% tension. Then I'm going to bring the stick up overhead, drive those feet into the floor, squeeze those glutes, come back, up and over. Good. Let's go again. Keep pulling apart. Good. Up. 2. Pull apart. Keep that tension. Good. 3. Let's go one more time. Good. 4. Excellent. Ease off. Now we're going to get into bow and arrow. This will be the very last drill. We're going to do this from a progressed version. So I'm going to have the bottom of the stick on the inside of my foot. Notice my feet are out pretty wide here, right? We don't want to go with the close stance. We want to keep the feet out nice and wide. You can have the stick a little bit more towards your center line or at your center line if you want more of a stretch. But we're just going to go with the stick a couple inches inside the arch of your foot. I'm going to have my left hand roughly about waist height. Take my right hand up over the top, thumb facing down. And the direction I'm pushing is going down this direction here. So I'm going to drive my hips away as usual. And I'm going to drive my hands out in the opposite direction. Breathe. Going to ease off. Wonderful. Rotate the stick. We're going to go into it again. Drive those hips away first, then extend those hands out. You want to keep your hips facing forward. You don't want your hips to turn in. You want to get that left hip forward here. Ease off. Excellent. We're going to switch sides. Sticks on my right hand, right hand inside my right foot. We're going to have the right hand about hip height. Left hand's up over the top, thumb facing down. Drive those hips away. Extend those hands out. Ease off. Wonderful. Rotate the stick. Let's go again. Drive those hands, or drop the hips out. Then extend those hands out. 3, 2, 1. Excellent, and ease off. And that, my friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you for joining me. I hope everybody had a good class, and I will be sure to catch you all next week. Have a good one.